Hi, I'm Christina Johnson. I'm your host for the Pan de Dios podcast. The Pan de Dios came to me here in Mexico as an expression of goodness, of gentility, of kindness. And the podcast is about Pan de Dios moments in your life. Hi, I'm Christina Johnson. This is a Pan de Dios podcast. And as you know, Pan de Dios is all about stories that are inspiring, uplifting, funny. Jesus came to me, all that kind of thing, because this kind of news is what people really long for and touches the heart and the spirit. And the person I have with me today is Maureen Rogers, and I was going to say, "Oh, Maureen, how do you want me to introduce you?" But then I realized, from my point of view, Maureen is this brilliant person who is resilient, uh, idea attracting, imaginative, and she's a healer, not just with horses, but with people too, doing craniosacral work. I studied 5 levels of her classes in equine craniosacral, and it was transformative. It was transformative for me as a person and the work. So I'm so happy that she's here. So Maureen, tell me about your story.
Oh, thank you, Christina, for reaching out to me and inviting me here on your beautiful podcast, which I'm excited to hear more of your stories that you bring to life through this. My story, should we go how far? Where do you want it? Do you want it just from the horse cranial? Does it matter?
Well, what the story that you thought of that you wanted to tell that
okay,
that was your awakening story, your like
perfect.
your best, yeah.
Okay, so fascinating because through life I think I had different moments of those moments of acknowledgement of something greater in my life. But a big pivotal moment in my life was when I was graduated university, and this is where my whole life spun around in a different direction because I went the normal path in life, went to university, got a bachelor's degree, to have a proper education, but I wasn't sure what I really wanted to do yet. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go be a ski bum in Utah for a while until I figure it out. But I always saw an Olympic skier out there. So that made it easy. So at this point in my life, I was just graduated school, unknown in my direction. And I was just working in restaurants just because I wanted to have fun. Well, I had a great time until one day I had a severe neck injury in a snowboarding accident, which was a pivotal moment in my life to redirect me on a whole nother path, unbeknownst to me. As much as I thought, oh no, I could manage this. Meaning my snowboard life. Oh, look at this. I can keep coming back to that. And that's what I loved at that moment. But the universe, God, whatever, had a whole different plan for me. So I was doing what I did every day, went snowboarding, and then went off a jump. And when I landed on the jump, I knew I was injured, and I severely whiplashed my neck. Went for another run. I was like, no, I'm going to make sure my body's okay, even though I know it wasn't. And
of course you would go for another run. Of course you would go for another run.
You know, I had to check it out to see. But the other part of myself, the observer of us, was just like, this is not right, girl. Just, some part of me, no, just get back down the hill. And then I went to go change because I had my shift in the restaurant that night. And I was in the bathroom changing, and I went put my head down, and I couldn't lift my head up like we'd normally take for granted. And I had to take my own hand and push my head up, and I just leaned against the wall in the bathroom, just screaming out to say, can somebody go get my roommate, Diane? Because we all lived in a big snowboarding house, a bunch of us. And she came in. I said, you got to call the hospital clinic on the mountain because I'm not right. I think I could have broken my neck. But I had enough of wilderness EMT experience to know what to do to myself in that situation where I just waited till they came, took me out. on the ambulance and then brought me down into, this was at Snowbird, Utah, into the emergency clinic. And yeah, that was a very pivotal moment, especially when you know the staff on this facility, because I was there for several years. And the doctor looked at me and she started to cry a little bit, like, I didn't expect you to be here. And I was like, that heart beating moment of like, holy shit, this is serious. If the doctor's like looking at me, because they didn't know at that point if I broke my neck or if it was how severely damaged it was. But it was very severely damaged, severe whiplash I was diagnosed with, a lot of tearing of the muscle. And then after that, my life dramatically changed, unbeknownst to me, like how much it would impact my life. So as an active athletic person, which I would mountain bike, horse ride, rock climb, ice climb, that was my world before this. And then all of a sudden, in one fleeting moment, that was all taken away. So upon that injury happening, and then I went to try to ski again after that. And then I didn't have my coordination and balance. I just wasn't right. I had my organization as an athlete. And then I was like, I'm going skiing again. I don't care. And then I'd re-injure myself because my body just didn't have the balance proprioception or the neurological connections like it did previous to what you need when you're doing athletic things. So lo and behold, I lived like that for a year. And at some point I just got frustrated because just lifting things or riding a bike for 10 minutes, a mountain bike, I couldn't just hold my head up, what we take for granted every day. You get up and you carry yourself. Well, that ability of mine was gone to do and hold myself in certain ways. So all around this time, because I went up to Alaska and commercial fish that summer, and that's where my threshold was, because lifting and pulling was just too much. A friend said, who went to the Utah College of Massage Therapy, she said, if you need a therapy, my suggestion as a therapist, because she's now licensed, she said, go and check out craniosacral therapy. And this is 1994.
That was really early
95.
in the craniosacral world in the U.S.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. It was in the beginning of the found.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't mainstream. I mean, massage was still considered one step above a prostitute in some places.
Right. I remember that.
And people don't. Yeah, exactly. Like to go get my license as a therapist. Huh?
Not the prostitute part.
No.
Just...
But if my plan didn't go well, maybe that was another direction. Who knows? So the thing was, I went and had cranial by a woman named Suzanne Wagner out of Salt Lake City, Utah, and she used to write intuitive column in the local paper. And everyone said, no, you got to go see Suzanne Wagner. And I did. Within 2 sessions, I was totally back. And I was very intrigued about it because how I was better. And so, the medical world told me, nope, you just got to wait. It's going to take time. And with cranial, it just brought things back into alignment, opened up, the bone structure, cerebral spinal fluid could move better. These are things I didn't know then, right? My position of my head and neck corrected. And there's probably other things, without a doubt, of course, underlying in there from all my other injuries. But to have my life back and have a normal life again was priceless to me. So then I was curious. And that's when the fascinating thing is I went and tested because I'm like, I'm going back skiing now, I was awesome. But the universe was like, no, Maureen, no, or God or whatever. It wasn't my plan. So I went to the Utah College of Massage Therapy of April of 1995 and took a 6-week intro to massage class. And the woman teaching the class, crazy enough, C.G. Funk, the instructor, was the craniosacral teacher at the school. I don't know anything. Yeah, exactly. So I go into there and she's, everyone's effleurage, pet massage, and you're practicing on people and doing your thing. And she leaned down in my ear and she said, you'll be in school in August. And I'm giving the real story of what happened. And I was like, what the hell? What it's about? Like, no way. Like, I'm going back skiing. I knew that was what I knew. So I was so intrigued. Something she said hit something in me. And then I was still getting cranial from her because she's a local practitioner. I went off and got cranial with her after that. And lo and behold, I was in school August of 1995 at the Utah College of Massage Therapy, one of the top massage therapy schools, with a very diversified educational program. And they had craniosacral as in their foundational program. And I deep dived into there. And all around this time, I graduated school in 1995. And then I went into my advanced studies. So I went off and took Upledger 1, and that just didn't touch me deeply enough in the work. They do great work in getting information out, but for me, I just felt like something was missing. And then C.G. Funk, my original craniosacral teacher, said, go check out Hugh Milne, because she studied with him. And she said, you'll really notice a difference in his teaching and how he brings the work into cranial, because he's a visionary and a highly intuitive man. And he wrote one of the first books in the cranial work for humans. That was The Heart of Listening, which brought in the energetics of cranial work into the bone and into the systems and into the craniosacral world more. And Huryu was a third generation Scottish osteopath. So I ran off, studied with him. When I was teaching and assisting at the Utah College of Massage Therapy, teaching cranial as much as I could, and a few other classes. And then, let's see. So then around there, I got back into writing. There's a woman at the school, Anne Bogdanich. She used to teach kinesiology, Touch for Health. So I was teaching and assisting with her. And then her sister owned a ranch up in Camas, Utah. I love them telling the story. So here I was at the ranch, and I'm like, I want a horse. This is 1996, 97. So being up at their ranch, and I got Willy, who is my little special foal. He opened up the door for craniosacral work with horses. So I was up there that night he was born. I just slept in the horse trailer, and Willy came that night, and I bought him. But yet Willy had an injury. So as Willy was having a difficult time walking a little bit, I was like, gosh, I could do craniosacral on him. Like, it just came into my awareness. I didn't think about it. I didn't look for a book on it. I just was like, I'm sure if it worked, because I was so open to the concept. And I've seen the results, experienced the results, saw people, being treated by Hugh Milne and C.G. Funk and all these people and myself. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to do it. So I did. So I was doing cranial on Willy, and lo and behold, somebody found out. And word got back to the Utah College of Massage Therapy. This is 1997. And word got out on the street. I was treating horses with craniosacral. And I'm like, I really don't know what I'm doing. Because I was just like imagining it from what I was taught in the human world. Created the handhold, which is largely used globally now by many people, unbeknownst to them knowing where it came from. But yeah, word got out, and then I was asked to treat this horse and that horse. Huh?
When you said you don't know what you're doing, what occurred to me when you said you don't know what you're doing, mystically, that's, and even in verbally, that's where we as healers want to be.
Yeah.
It's when totally. You learn everything and then you realize you don't know what you're doing.
Know anything. Yeah, totally. And that was the space I was in. I just was doing it. It made sense. Like, the handholds were just natural and organic, and and then you'd see the changes. So that's where I was just like, okay. And all I needed was permission to do this. And that's where Anne Bogdanich, an amazing healer herself and gifted therapist, all she said to me is like, look, you love cranial, you love horses, which I did because I grew up riding. She's like, do something with it. And that's all I needed. And off I went. Later, I went back to Hugh Milne, my teacher who I studied human cranial work with and assisted teaching for many years. I went back to Hugh and I said, I'm going to take cranial work to horses. And he gave me his blessings. And that's all I need. That's always it. And then I moved to California and started the equine craniosacral workshops program. Actually, I was still in Utah. Did my first workshop in 1999. Created the workshop series that exists today. It's evolved over time, of course. And pioneered it globally. So it's been a labor of love. I want, once the internet came on, because I didn't have the internet. There's no books on this. It was all my own divine, connective, whatever you want to say, stream of consciousness. It was just putting dots together. And yeah, I was determined to take it around the world, and I did. And I created the most extensive program of study internationally that exists today. So, and yeah, it's just amazing. Like the way it aligned and the way it came together. I had a whole different thinking of like, oh, I'm going to be a ski bum. Oh, I'm going to work in restaurants. And the universe just pivoted me down a trail that I didn't even foresee. So, yeah.
As I'm hearing this whole story, and from the beginning of it, what happened it almost was a near-death experience. I mean, what happened with your neck and what could have happened.
Totally.
I mean, what could have happened with that was actually the passageway into this gift that you have personally, but something that you've gifted other people with being able to learn and being able to do.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Well, that was important to me in the beginning. I remember thinking about that because I'm like, I'm only one person, and how can I do this that's where it was the inspiration and part of the drive of making the workshops. It's got to be brought to life on a higher level out in this industry, because with horses, growing up riding, you just ride. And then as I was in the industry and getting into the industry again, and then you see, wow, there's a big need for this because of where's the most pressure on the horse. You have the back and the head, and there's more pressure exerted on the horse. So how it unfolded and came into its being, I'm very passionate about it, and there is such a great need for this. So Willy gave his life to crack this door. And it's always amazing to me what I see, what can change, and what it can do for their betterment, which they deserve to live their best life, these horses.
What would you say is, in terms of your teaching this work, what would you say is your greatest strength?
My creativity and intuition. I'm going to use 2 there.
Okay, as a student,
I'm
going to say it's your ferocity.
Okay.
Do you understand that word?
Yeah, of course. Yes, of course. I may be in Holland, but I still understand English.
But what I mean is different definitions of the word.
Oh, yes.
Ferocity, your enthusiasm, your passion, all passion. Things that are fire, including your imagination and your intuition, which some people could say is air. I don't care, but I mean it's something that's a spirit of enthusiasm and ferocity, and I think of the word. I have a street dog named Giorgio. Well, I have 2 street dogs that I adopted, and Giorgio is incredibly protective, and he will attack somebody if they're running towards me. I mean, and he's in training to be less protective, but he just that way. That's just how he is. He's better, and so they use the word bravo, like for being sort of bad, like a badass.
Yep.
And I say he's feroz. He's ferociously protective. And that's what I mean. It's like it's a sort of energy that's very directive. And in terms of working with horses, I think it's fantastic. Well, I love the way you teach. So
Thank
anyway,
you.
if there's anything else that you would like to add before we close.
Yeah, no, I would just say it's a labor of love, and I'm grateful. I get to have this as my gift to bring into fruition here. There's many different facets of it. How you got to ride the roller coaster, but I wouldn't change it. So yeah, I'm very grateful for all of it, and look forward to what I continue doing with it.
Well, I'm grateful to you, and I'm grateful that uh, actually I don't remember how I found you. I don't remember how I found you, Maureen. Oh, maybe it was
I,
because of craniosacral that I had finished studying with Hugh Milne, and then I found out about with horse work, and because I'm a horse, maybe that's what the connection
yeah,
is.
no, I remember you telling that story back because I could still see us in that building in Santa Cruz or wherever we were, in
Yeah,
that funky little local building,
yeah,
um, in the bushes of it was Aptos in the where I taught that class.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
so yeah, so that was the Milne work. I think that we had in common there. But just as a PS, a lot of people know about the 2012 surgery that I had on
Yep.
my spine, that where I'm paralyzed, well, partially paralyzed on the right side down. And I had a session with Maureen that was exceptional. For 3 whole days, I was walking normally without a limp, and I had, and it changed my structure phenomenally, just my one session with her, and then it kept on working. And I wish there was more craniosacral where I live. It's a fantastic therapy. I am so glad that you decided
Yes.
to come on and
No.
tell your story, Maureen.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you asking and inviting me. So it's lovely to share and be able to have that. So thank you for that.
Is there
And
a contact for you for people to know about?
yes, we have a website, www.equinecraniosacral.com. And we are on Facebook and Instagram. You can look me up, Maureen Rogers. So those are the best places. Or if you want to send a message directly or interested about the workshops or something, we got articles up there. We have webinars available. So yeah, or you could email us with a question about your horse if you have one, at office@equinecraniosacral.com. So those are the different platforms and avenues to find us. So thank you. Yes.
Okay. All right. So this is Maureen Rogers here that we're speaking with. And I'm Christina, and this is Pan de Dios. And I'm thinking of how to send off Maureen, because we always do something. So may your Pan de Dios always be rising, but also may it be sweetened with your heart's desire.
Oh, beautiful. Muchas
Okay.
gracias, Cristina. Muchas gracias.
Adiós, hasta pronto. Espero que pronto. I hope I see you soon. Bye, Maureen.
Sí. Adiós.
I hope you enjoyed the Pan de Dios moments. Please let us know if you have a moment that you'd like to share on the podcast. And goodbye now, and may your Pan de Dios always be rising.